So guys, today we are starting with the basics. In yesterday's class discussion, we had seen about the certification details, and in that time was gone. So from today onwards, we are starting with firewall. Okay. So before I start with the firewalls, I would like to tell you what are the topics that we are going to cover in this ASA module. First of all, we'll see basics of ASA firewall. In basics of ASA firewall, like we'll understand many things. In basics of ASA firewall, we'll understand like types of firewalls. We'll understand like model numbers, right? We'll understand packet flow. We'll understand how to take a backup, right? So many more things are there that we are going to understand. We are going to understand modes of firewall, okay, security, context, mode, and all. Like all the basic stuff about ASA firewall will understand. Before starting with the firewall, I mean like with the ASA firewall, priorly we'll understand what is firewall actually. Okay. From there we'll be starting. After that, we'll see translation. In translation, these many types of translations we guys are going to see. We'll see dynamic NAT, dynamic PAT, interface level command, static NAT, static PAT, identity NAT, policy NAT, or manual NAT, or dual NAT, or a destination NAT. VPN class today I had kept at 4 p.m. Actually, it was at 8 a.m. itself, but morning very less students have connected, so I kept it at 4 p.m. so that they could connect. So morning, I guess 9 or 10 students were sorry. In evening 4 p.m. 9 or 10 students were connected. Okay, tomorrow also from 4 p.m. only. At 4 p.m. at evening time they are able to connect. More guys. Okay. VPN, it's about to complete. Two classes more will have for VPN and it will be done. Okay. So today's class video, it's already uploaded on Google Drive. You please go through it. Okay, I had taken a short video. I mean like short class itself, around 45 minutes of class was on. Yeah, tomorrow 4 p.m. Those who are attending VPN classes, tomorrow 4 p.m. So this week we'll complete a VPN. So these are the total types of translations that you guys are going to learn in ASA Firewall. These translations will help you to understand, other vendors' translation as well. Okay. After that, we'll see multi-context. Multi-context is like inside one physical firewall, how can you create a multiple virtual firewalls? That is basically multi-context. Like if you have one ASA box, let's say this is physical box, ASA box. Inside this, how many virtual firewalls can I create? Okay. This is basically called multi-contexting. Later on, you guys will understand. After that, we'll see redundancy on the firewall. That's basically HA on your ASA firewall. Different labels or different types of the HAs we'll see, like interface level redundancy, ISP level redundancy, hardware level redundancy. In a hardware level with a dual failover link, single failover link, active standby with the hardware level with the dual failover links, examination perspective, all these are very important. Without knowing basics, you won't be able to understand all this stuff. Okay. After that, we'll see a transparent firewall. After looking into a layer 3 firewall, we'll see a layer 2 firewall. In a layer 2 firewall, you will see how to configure management and transparent firewall. I mean like management interface on a transparent firewall. We'll see how to configure inside outside interfaces. We'll see how to configure default route, static route, all dynamic routing protocols. How will you allow the multicast addresses or multicast related types of dynamic routing protocols? How would you allow in a transparent firewalling? All this stuff you will see. Modular policy framework, MPF. MPF is one of the important part of your ASA firewall. If you guys see blueprint of your ASA firewall, according to the licenses, they haven't given the MPF. You won't be able to see inside the blueprint. But without understanding MPF, it's like it will be incomplete to understand the ASA firewall. So it's very important topic. This you have to understand MPF. In MPF, we'll understand about different types of like class map, policy map, service policies, and all. Okay. After that, we have clustering. It's a new technology for redundancy. Like you can add more and more firewalls inside the clustering. Okay. And I'll show you guys like iOS zone based firewall. So basically, you guys are going to learn three types of firewalling method. Okay. One is like these all things you'll see in a layer 3 firewallings. After that, you will see layer 2 firewall. And at last, you guys are going to see iOS zone based firewall. This complete course will take around this complete course will take around 5 weeks. Okay, 4 days a week. We are going to have a class from Monday to Thursday. It will take around 5 weeks to complete. VPN, ASA, these are the big modules. ICE, and though they have added more and things. Okay, according to your examination perspective, clustering 100%, HA, active standby and active 100% in your examination, multi-context 100% in your examination, and translation, few types of translations 100% in your examination. So you have to take all these topics very seriously, whatever I am indicating as a important one. Okay, so these were the total topics that we need to go through. Guys, at the end of class, I'll give you access to a Google Drive in which I'll be uploading all these details. Okay. In blueprints, they haven't mentioned these things very clearly. In zigzag way, they have mentioned. So don't worry about the blueprint. Whatever we are going to understand, it's more than blueprint. Okay. See, this is like overall I have written, but while explaining, if I told it will take 5 weeks, you understand how many things we are going to cover. Okay. Okay. So starting with the basics of firewall. See, there are two types of firewalls. Whenever you guys understand, you have two types of firewalls. You have either hardware or you will have a software-based firewall. A hardware-based means what? It will have its own chassis box. It will have its own hardware. And software-based firewall means what? Software-based firewall means you have to deploy that firewall on any particular platform. Either it can be your virtual platform inside your premises, or it can be deployed on the public platform like AWS, or you want to deploy it on like Google server, Google cloud, right? So multiple public cloud services we have wherein you guys can deploy these software based firewalls, right? So basically you'll create your data center on someone else cloud. Now let's say I have a cloud service taken from AWS. Okay, AWS, you have a cloud service. Inside this cloud, I want to deploy all my devices. I mean, like my data center, I want to create on cloud. So in a cloud, you won't be able to deploy your hardware. You have to purchase a software. And that software you guys can deploy on your AWS. And all your traffics you'll be diverting to the cloud web security data center. And through that, your traffics will pass. So basically, whenever you deploy any softwares on the cloud platforms, you don't have to worry about electricity backup. You don't have to worry about, you know, power failures and all. Those things will be taken care by whom? AWS. Only you have to take care of your devices, whatever you have deployed, right? You don't have to, uh, you know, you don't have to do any server maintenance, anything else. So everything will be a part of AWS, and AWS will have some charges. They will charge you for that services, whatever you will be taking. So this is how you deploy. Let's say, for example, I want my own data center. This is my own organization. in my organization, I want to deploy a software-based firewall. Is that possible? Yes. You'll purchase a servers. You'll purchase a different servers, like you'll purchase a HP server, or you'll purchase a Dell server, or you'll purchase a UCS server. So different types of the servers are there in which you'll be installing the OS. You'll install the OS like ESXi. Okay. So virtual operating systems are like ESXi or NSX. These are the virtual operating systems which you'll be installing on these servers. On top of that, Devrat, please take care. Okay. So inside your premises, inside your campus area network, if you want to create your own data center, let's say this is your DC data center. Inside this DC, so inside my DC, if I want to create my own data center, I want a software-based firewalls to be deployed. So you need to have the servers. On that server, you need to have the operating systems like ESXi or NSX. And on top of that, you will be deploying the virtual machine. Like, I hope you guys are aware of VMware, right? Like on a VMware workstation, you guys create a multiple virtual machines in VMware. So VMware is one application, right? So on top of that application, you guys are installing this. But when I talk about the virtual platform, it won't be like that. You'll have a server. On that server, you'll have the operating system. Inside that operating system, you have to deploy these softwares. But when I talk about hardwares, I'm not worried about these servers. Hardware means I'll have on specific ASA firewall hardwares. Okay, I don't have to depend on the other hardwares. So these are the two types of firewalls of any vendors in the world. So two types of firewalls are there, either software based or the hardware based. Software based firewalls I can deploy in my premises, that will have more advantages. Hardware based firewalls will support more features compared to software. That's true. Not all the features of hardware will be supported by software. What are those features? That we'll be discussing later on. But like software based firewalls, we can deploy on our public clouds. You can deploy the hardware based firewalls on the public cloud. You can take that, carry that hardware and go and deploy in the cloud. Not like that. Okay. So depends. You can link your firewalls with the Amazon. That's a different thing. You can make the connectivity. That's a different thing. But deploying or uploading the firewall on Amazon's machine, that's a different thing. You can do that with the software-based firewalls only. Is that clear, guys, all of you? Now, if I talk about feature-wise, how many types of firewalls you'll have? Feature-wise, you'll have stateless firewall, you'll have a stateful firewall, you'll have a next generation firewall, you can say, or application layer firewall also you can say. Application gateway firewall also you can say. Okay, so that's basically a next generation firewall. Okay, so these are, in my view, these are the types of firewalls. Okay, in Google, if you search types of firewalls based on features, you will see you'll get multiple types, multiple things. But overall, in interview perspective, if you go and tell the types of firewalls based on the features, if they are asking you types of firewalls, you say software and hardware, right? If they're asking based on features, tell me what are the types of firewalls, then you tell stateless firewall, stateful firewall, and next generation firewall, or application gateway firewall. You can tell me. See, these things can be compared with any vendors. It's not only for the Cisco. These basics, what I'm talking, is not related to any particular vendor. These theories can be given to any vendors. Devrat, is that fine? This these descriptions can be used with any vendors. See, no matter it's any vendor firewall, either it's a checkpoint, Palo Alto, FortiGate, Cisco, all the vendors will have hardware or software based firewalls, right? They have hardware also and they have the software also. So this is common thing. Stateless firewall, stateful firewall, next generation firewall, that comes under all the vendors. This is how you understand the types of firewalls based on the features. What do you mean by stateless? Basically, when you talk about the stateless firewall works based on layer. You can say basically stateful firewall does a filtering based on layer 3 and layer 4 information only. It does a filtering based on layer 3 and layer 4 information only. These types of firewalls does not maintain any connection table. Connection table in the sense, let's say, if I have a device, on this particular device, whenever I'm trying to pass any traffic from one firewall to, like from one interface to another interface, whenever I'll try to pass any traffic, on your device, you won't see any type of connection table. Connection table in the sense, it will show you the informations like what type of protocol is used by the user, what type, what's my source IP and port number, right? What's my destination IP and port number? So these many, like many other informations will be there. Okay, like idle value, okay, like flag value. So different types of informations will be included in the connection table. And this helps you to prevent your network from attack. Like if someone else tries to send the traffic from outside, it will check the connection table. In the connection table, is that connection present? If not, it will drop the packet. Let's say from inside you tried going outside, you were allowed it, it created the connection and reply packet is coming. Reply packet will check against the connection table all the details. If it's matching, then only the reply packet will come. If not matching, packet will get dropped. These are the uses of the connection table. So whenever I talk about stateless firewall does not maintain such type of connection tables on your devices. Maximum what we do, we create ACLs. In ACLs, like we have a different type of ACLs. Okay. See, earlier in 90s or 80s, when there wasn't any type of firewalls, then we used to use a different types of ACLs. We had a different types of ACLs. Different types of ACLs in the sense, can you guys name few types of ACLs that you know that was used to make a router to work like a firewall? Are you guys aware of such type of ACLs? Tell me, what ACLs do you know? Do you see reflexive ACL Cisco? Forget about numbered ACL, name ACL standard, all these ACLs. Earlier we had these two types of ACLs. Nowadays no one will discuss about this type of ACLs. We had CBAC ACL and we had a reflexive ACL. These were the two types of ACLs earlier used to make your router to work like a firewall. And you could not find any type of connection tables or anything. So maximum what you could do, you could configure the ACLs that would work like a firewall, but still it was stateless only. It wasn't a stateful. The first was a reflexive ACL, and then they came up with the advanced concept of the ACL called as a CBAC. Try to do some research on the reflexive ACL and the CBAC ACL. But in today's date, there is no meaning of a reflexive ACL or CBAC ACL because we have the firewalls like ASA firewall, which has the inbuilt firewalling feature, inbuilt packet filtering mechanism. So I don't have to use CBAC or reflexive ACL. The time of reflexive and the CBAC ACL has gone. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to tell you, like in ACLs, what do you do? Let's say, for example, maximum, if I talk about any extended ACL only, then what do you write in access list? Let's say you'll write access list, right? You'll write 101, like it's extended ACL. You will say action as a permit. You'll define the protocol, right? What type of protocol? Now, let's say if you want to filter any protocol at layer 3, right? Then what you'll write a protocol number, right? You basically include layer 3 and the layer 4 informations in your ACL, isn't it? Right now, if I write for IP means what? Layer 3. IP indicates all the protocols, everything, right? Instead, if I want to block, let's say ICMP, then I'll say protocol number 1. It will filter ICMP, or you'll write the protocol name ICMP. Let's say if I want to filter HTTP, HTTP is application layer protocol. But with the ACL, are you filtering at a layer 4? You're doing layer 3, layer 4 filtering, or you're doing application layer filtering? What do you do? Let's say if you want to filter HTTP, then you say TCP based. Then you say your source host, let's say 10.11.11.1 to the destination host like let's say 8.8.8, right? For example, EQ, when you say EQ 80, what are you doing here? I know I'm going for a port number 80 means HTTP, but according to the information over here in the ACL, this is your layer 4 information, right? Not a layer 7 information. But I can tell HTTP is a layer 7 application, but it's a dependent on the transport layer, right? So in ACL, what do? You define layer 3 to layer 4 informations to filter the traffic. Guys, are you getting my point, what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the same like you can think like such type, we had a different types of ACLs earlier, which was used to get a filtering. So it used to, take the layer 3, layer 4 informations. It wasn't having any information of the payload. Payload in the sense, let's say I have a HTTPS. Under the HTTPS, if I have facebook.com request, so I would not have the information inside this payload, whatever I'm having. I would maximum have the information like HTTP, what was the source, layer 3 and layer 4 information for source and destination. Source or source and destination. So layer 3, layer 4 informations we could do, we could match with the ACLs and we could filter. There was nothing to do what is passing through HTTP or what is passing through HTTPS. What traffic is passing through HTTPS or FTP. Inside that, what information is passing, that wasn't actually the responsibility of stateless firewall. Your stateless firewall was only having visibility till this layer, not more than that. What else informations are passing inside the payload? I don't care about that. That's basically a stateless firewall. Okay. Okay. What you can say in short, or a device doing a filtering based on the layer 3, layer 4 informations, okay, does not have any connection tables, does not have the state of the connection, okay. Simply, you can give an example like we define the ACLs of the routers to filter the traffic based on layer 3, layer 4 informations. Such type of filterings are basically called as a stateless. Does not maintain any state of the connection. Okay, state in the sense connection. What do you have in connection? Like protocol, source IP, destination IP, right? Port numbers, source port number, destination port number, all those informations. session was of how many bytes. All those informations are basically a part of state connection table. Those informations are not there. Okay, so your device does not do a verification. Okay, based on any existing connection table, it does not do any type of verification. It only checks the layer 3 and layer 4 information. Is it matching my ACL? If a matching, allow it. If not matching, drop it. That's it. Does not have any other verification mechanism. Guys, am I clear with stateless? Now let's talk about stateful firewall. See guys, when I talk about stateful firewall is like stateful firewall will maintain connection table, okay? Or you can say state table. That's basically the first thing that you tell about the stateful firewall. It do have or it does have a visibility to a payload part also. Like under the HTTP or under the FTP, whatever the content I'll be sending, whatever the information I'll be sending, even that if I try to filter, it can filter. So like along with your IP, or you can say layer 3 and layer 4 information, apart from that, it also has a visibility to a payload part. In the sense, inside this HTTP or FTP or other protocols which are not encrypted, inside that, whatever the informations are passing, you can even do the filtering for that. Best example would be like I want to do URL filtering. I want to filter the website like www.facebook.com, right? But you need to know whether your device does the filtering for HTTP or HTTPS also. Most of the devices will not have a visibility to HTTPS encrypted traffic. They'll have visibility only to the clear text traffic like ASA firewall. Your ASA firewall does not have visibility to encrypted traffics. So if any HTTPS traffics are passing, that will bypass your firewall. Okay, but before coming to HTTP or before coming to HTTPS, you do have layer 3 and layer 4 information, right? So how does your ASA firewall protect you from the encrypted traffic? If anyone is not allowed it based on layer 3, layer 4 information, no matter he is trying to carry HTTP traffic or HTTPS traffic, your firewall will drop the packet. So basically your firewall is a stateful firewall, but not a next generation firewall because it does not have a visibility to encrypted traffics. And also I can do application layer filterings. Like if I want to filter applications, if I want to filter sub applications, if I want to filter service based applications, right? If I want to do URL filtering, if I want to do IPS or let's say content, I want to do content filtering, I want to do advanced malware protection, all these type of features. I've written only few features over here. These are the next generation features. Right, I want to filter all this stuff. Is it possible to do it with ASA firewall? Not possible. So you can say like stateful firewall. There are multiple stateful firewalls, but all stateful firewalls can't be a next generation firewall. So in a stateful firewall also you have non-next generation firewalls, like you have a ASA firewall. But when you come to a next generation firewall will have a firewalling feature also, plus next generation firewalling feature as well. So if I talk about what are the firewalling features, just as a normal firewall, if I just talk about the normal firewall like ASA firewall, okay? If I just talk about the ASA firewall, so what are the functionalities of ASA firewall? Like you can do a routing, You can do routing means it's like L3 firewalling. It's like a L3 firewall. You can configure it as a transparent firewall. That's your L2 firewall. Okay. You can configure VPN. You can do translation. You can configure ACL. You can configure multi-context. You can configure HA. In a HA also different types. You can configure cluster. These are the features of your ASA firewall. So if you want only the firewalling feature, then ASA firewall is best as a gateway firewall. If your requirements are these things, see right now you might not be understanding what is cluster, what is multi-context. I'm not telling you guys to tell me what are these things. Just listen the terms, okay, and keep in your mind. Whenever we'll complete all these topics of ASA firewall, automatically you will understand all this stuff. So when I say just a firewall, see your ASA firewall has all these features. It can do all this stuff. Plus it's a stateful. So it can do a stateful firewalling, including with all these features. But it's not a next generation firewall. ASA is not a next generation firewall because it does not have all these types of inbuilt features. So what is next generation firewall or application gateway firewall? It has both the things. When I talk about next generation firewall, it will have all these features plus it will have the lower features also. All the features together when it is combined, that equals to next generation firewall. It has all the features. So in Cisco, do you have any next generation firewall? Yes, you do have. That is called FTD, Firepower Threat Defense. That's your next generation firewall. So guys, did you understand the meaning of stateless firewall, stateful firewall, next generation firewall? Always understand next generation firewalls will always be next generation firewalls are always stateful. They are stateful firewalls plus they are next generation. But ASA is not a next generation, but it's a stateful. Understand the meaning of next generation. Having the advanced features in a single device, inside a single operating system, having the advanced type of features. That's basically a next generation. But ASA firewall is a stateful firewall, but it's not a next generation firewall because it does not have the advanced filtering mechanism, advanced features. So these were the basics. Before understanding ASA firewall, we came up with this concept. Okay. Now we are getting into, yeah, you can take like configuring the ACLs on the routers, one of the example of a stateless one, or configuring reflexive ACL, back ACL to make a router to work like a firewall, stateless firewall. Now let's talk about ASA. Tell me guys, what's a full form of ASA? What's a full form of ASA? Have you guys done any research on that?
Adaptive security appliance.
It's a adaptive security appliance. Yeah, it's adaptive security appliance. Okay, that's your ASA firewall, adaptive security appliance. That's a full form of your ASA. See, if I talk about Cisco firewalls history, earlier there was a, before ASA firewall there was a PIX firewall, and earlier PIX firewalls wasn't having a VPN. There was a VPN SAP. You had a VPN device also. Earlier we used to have a PIX firewall, not having a VPN. So for VPN we had a separate device. Later on, what they did, they mixed these two things together and they created the new device called as a ASA firewall. So now ASA firewall has all the features. Okay. So whatever the firewalling feature it had and the VPN functionalities combined together, and they created the single firewall called as a ASA firewall. This is a firewall. It's a separate device. ASA is firewall. Like you guys have gone through different types of devices, right? Till now you have gone through what is router, switch, right? You have known like a hub. These devices you have known. But now you guys are going to know new devices. Now you are coming to know about the firewall. What is firewall? It's a separate security appliance, separate security device, which is used to filter the traffic. Where? Where do you deploy the firewall? Now let's say I have my organization. This is my LAN area network. This is my private area network. This is my LAN network. I need the internet connectivity. So for internet connectivity, what will you do? You will take a router. At your home, what do you do, guys? You have a router, right? Your router has an internet connection. One side you'll have the internet connection, right? And another side you'll have a home connection, LAN connection, isn't it? This is how you guys are accessing the internet at your home, correct? Isn't it? I'm asking question to everyone. Is this the way you guys are accessing internet at home?
Yes.
See, no matter you guys are having the wireless router or you're having wired router, does not matter. If this is Wi-Fi adapter, it means you have a Wi-Fi signal, right? And you guys are accessing the internet. So basically, you have a Wi-Fi router, right? That releases the signal. So Wi-Fi router, if you have, you can connect through the Wi-Fi or you can connect through the wired connection to your local area network. So no matter how many the hosts you are connecting, let's say if you have /24 over here, /24 subnet, so you can connect to 54 hosts in your local area network, right? And you can connect all those hosts with the switch. You'll connect all those hosts with switch and you'll make the connectivity to all the users. But this is one of the scenario. Another scenario, what I'll show you. See, this is one of the scenario. Other scenario is, let's say I have a LAN area network. My LAN area network is connected with firewall. My firewall, this is my firewall. Let's say this is my ASA firewall. This is my LAN network, wherein multiple hosts are there. Like I have 100 hosts, and I'm connected with router, and router is connected with internet. This is one of the scenario. 50% of the network design you will see like this. 50%. See, this router can be any router. It could be a simple router supporting high bandwidth speed. Okay. It can be a Cisco device also. It can be non-Cisco device also. Like you guys are having non-Cisco devices for the internet connectivity, and that you guys are connecting to your firewall, and from the firewall you are controlling, behind the firewall you have 100 hosts. This is one of the scenario. Third scenario, what you guys can have, you'll have hosts connected in the internal network, and your ASA firewall interface is directly connected with the internet. So your ISP connection is directly coming to firewall. There is no router, because your firewall itself is capable for doing a routing. So I can directly install the static IP. Okay. So depends. I can make this interface like I can put in DHCP also. Okay. I can put in DHCP also. I can put a static public IP also. But most of the time in this case, wherein firewall is directly connected with the outside interface, you'll have a static IP. 99% of the time you'll have a static IP. So how many of you guys have seen these scenarios? Tell me your numbers. Like this is one, this is two, and this is 3. Tell me, how many of you guys are aware of which scenario? Tell me the numbers. So, did you understand one thing? Where actually your firewall is deployed? Is that clear now? Where router and firewall is deployed, both the things. See, don't take it like only a ASA firewall. It's not only like a ASA firewall. Instead of ASA, it can be Palo Alto, it can be Checkpoint, it can be FortiGate, any firewall. Such type of deployments you will see. These things are not specific to any particular vendor. These are related to all the vendor scenarios. You know what can be the fourth type of deployment of a firewall? Can you guys tell me? There is one more deployment. Can be a fourth type. Can anyone tell? Now that things can be known by experienced people only, okay? Not by all the guys. The fourth scenario. Let's say in my organization, I have a non-next generation firewall. ASA firewall is not a next generation firewall. I'm not able to do any content filtering like antivirus filtering, virus filtering, or DLP, or any type of filterings, malware filterings, or any type of filterings. Not able to do. It's just like a traffic filter. So I want to deploy a next generation firewall in a transparent mode. So this is transparent firewall. You can also call it as a multi-layered firewall network. So your gateway will be ASA only. Your gateway will remain ASA only, but here I'll have, like, I want to deploy Palo Alto firewall as a layer 2 firewall. It will be a layer 2 firewall, not a layer 3 firewall. So all the next generation filterings I'll do here. The rest of the things will be taken care by ASA firewall. So I'll divide the responsibilities. Like on ASA firewall, I'll configure a VPN, I'll configure routing, I'll configure ACL, right? I'll configure translation. So for all these things, I'll use ASA firewall, and also it will work like a gateway. Since ASA is not a next generation firewall, I'll start doing like application filtering, sub application filtering, right? All the advanced things, whatever I want, my content filtering, I can do filtering where on the Palo Alto firewall. Now you guys are aware of what can be the fourth scenario. So these are the scenarios wherein you can deploy the firewalls. Okay. More complex if I talk, I can have more firewalls in a transparent mode, like other vendor. I can put FortiGate over here. I can put FTD over here. Depends. But these are the types of scenarios wherein firewalls can be deployed. If you are aware of this, you are good to configure. You are good to understand the topology. You are good to understand where firewalls are deployed. See, I haven't discussed. I haven't, added the redundancy for these firewalls. Again, if I add the redundancy, that's a different thing. But the redundancy means what? Same traffic will be carried, right? Okay. If 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 ASA fails, means I'll have another ASA to carry the same information, right? So you can understand in that. In fourth scenario, this is how the traffic will come. Layer 2 device means it won't do any type of routing. What does your switch do? It allows the traffic from layer 2 to layer 7, right? But it does not do any type of filtering because we don't have that feature. But coming to firewall, it will allow your traffic from layer 2 to layer 7 without doing any routing. Simply like a switch, it will allow the traffic. But while passing the traffic from one interface to another interface, we can write a rule, filter these things. I can apply all the filterings. Now, if you are not aware of Palo Alto firewall or any next generation firewall, it will be difficult for you to understand. Okay. Later on, you guys will understand. I'll tell you. There are lots of things to discuss. So I'll tell you guys. Later on, when you learn like FTD firewall, side by side, I'll have multiple other classes like I'll have checkpoint class, or I'll have FortiGate class, or I'll have Palo Alto class. Attend those classes wherein I teach all these things. Okay. Okay, guys. See you. Please go through the classes properly. This week completely will have theoretical parts only. Only theory will understand. Okay. I'll make your base. After that, we'll see practical thing. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.